Hi everyone! Our group, composed of Morgan Girard, Ronan Moelle, Marc Gilbert, Zakaria Kalfaoui and Valentina Sbaffi, will present you our work on Maurizio Cattelan. We will start by an introduction about the life of Maurizio Cattelan. Maurizio Cattelan was born in Padua, Italy in 1960. His father was a truck driver and his mother a cleaner. Cattelan dreamed of escaping his lower-class life, but due to his mother's illness, he quit school at the age of 17 to contribute to the family incomes and help raise his two younger sisters. He took his remaining high school classes at night. Cattelan held a part-time job but had difficulty to following the rules. At 13, he was fired from a shop at the local parish that sold religious trinkets and statuettes for drawing moustaches and figurines of Saint Anthony. Cattelan recalls, "When the priest found them, they came straight to me. They didn't even ask the other 20 kids who were working with me. Basically, they knew it had to be Mauricio's fault. So they came up to me and said, 'Maurizio, why?' When he left home at 18, he found employment at a laundry but was quickly dismissed. They found me watching my own laundry at work. They said, 'What are you doing here?' And I said, 'Washing my laundry. It's my uniform.' 'Where else am I going to do it?' They fired me." The last in succession of tedious jobs was as medical assistant working in a morgue. He came to despise the drudgery of manual labor and planned early on to avoid it at all costs. During this time, Cattelan began to experiment with a very personal idiosyncratic form of industrial design. But the decision to pursue a full-time career as an artist only happened, he claims, after encountering a self-portrait by Michelangelo Pistoletto in a small gallery in Padua. He explained, "I was in Padua, walking to work at the hospital. I was a nurse here. And I saw in the window of this small gallery works by Pistoletto. They look interesting. So I went in and I asked the staff what they were about. They said, 'Are you interested in learning about art?' Then they gave me a few art history books to read. 5 years later, I made my first piece." Rather than an artist, has often been characterized as a court jester of the art world.
In the late 1990s, Cattelan began to create hyper-realistic figurative sculptures. Though the artist has repeatedly used his own image in works of self-mockery and self-effacement, nobody is exempt from Cattelan's critique. In La Nona Ora, a wax replica of Pope John Paul II is seen struck down by a meteor. In Hymn 2001, a boy with the face of an adult Adolf Hitler kneels on the floor. Cattelan's work has been presented in every Venice Biennale since 1993 and in major venues worldwide. But Cattelan insists, "I really don't consider myself as an artist. I make art, but it's a job. I fall into this by chance. Someone once told me that art was a very profitable profession, that you could travel a lot and meet a lot of girls. But this is all false. There is no money, no travel, no girls, only works. I don't really mind it, however. In fact, I can imagine any other option. There is, at least, a certain amount of respect. And people say, 'Oh, you are so stupid, thank you. Thank you for being so stupid.' For the second part of introduction, I will present you how Maurizio Cattelan chose to become an artist. One day, while he was riding his scooter, it stops. And at this time, Cattelan started thinking about the work of Michelangelo Pistoletto, that he had seen a few days before. And he started to ask himself some questions about when an artist decides to become an artist. At this time, he met a lady who was looking for information that she asked him, "What is your profession?" Cattelan answered, "I am an artist." And it was at this time that he decided to start his career. Then the lady asked him again, "What kind of art do you do?" He said, "I create useless objects." His definition of his work: I frame sensations, feelings, moods, and positions. The first of the most famous piece of art of Maurizio Cattelan is the Z at left, called Untitled. The artist don't give a real interpretation about this piece of art, but in the first time it appears that Maurizio Cattelan was inspired about Lucio Fontana on his piece of art, Concept Spatial, as you can see on the second picture. As the same way, Maurizio Cattelan has realized different pieces of art with different supports and colors, but he represents each time a Z as the hero Zorro. For the artist, these two iconographic figures are those models of identification, model of artist, provocation, and freedom.
Charlie Don't Surf. Charlie is a recurring character in the artworks of Maurizio Cattelan. It appears for the first time in 1997 during an installation at the Castello di Rivoli. We can draw a parallel between this work and his past. This work brings out the trauma between him and these two referents, the religion and the academic world. Charlie is the alter ego of the artist. He talked about his history, his own vision of the past. These two environments in which he was oppressed, restrained, like a bird in a cage, unable to get the liberty. La Nonna Ola is one of the most important works of Maurizio Cattelan. This work is installed in 1999 at the Royal Academy in London. This artwork has generated much controversy and reaction to the popularity of the Pope in Poland and Italy. John Paul II is a popular personality in these two countries. We find in this piece of art one frame recurrent topic: religion, the trauma of his childhood. Here he doesn't hesitate to defy the religious authorities while retaining its burlesque side.
Hymn. We can see on this picture an icon of the historic Second World War as a prayer. Hitler was the incarnation of evil, fear, and terror for many people throughout the world. He is a knee represent looking at the sky and living to the divine power. He looked like an ordinary believer, but his past acts were at the total opposite of the religion thought. Maurizio Cattelan plays at odds with the common sense. He uses contradiction, opposition, and ironic sense of humor.
Love is a 4-meter high sculpture on a big headland, on display in front of the Milan Stock Exchange building. What the spectator sees is a huge hand whose fingers are cut off, except for the middle one. The jest in Catalan's aim is directed against all ideologies. The sculpture is highly controversial and have aroused both enthusiastic and polemic reaction. But since October 2010, and despite the debate about its eventual removal, the statues occupy the center of Piazza Ferri. This piece of art, called A Perfect Day, represents a perfect day for an artist, for Maurizio Cattelan. The artist glued his gallerist with adhesive tape to show several paradoxes. The first is that the gallerist is hanging on the wall as other pieces of art that he sells. The second paradox is about the relation between the artist and the gallerist, between the power and the money, a kind of provocation and criticism. The last one is that the gallerist looks like an angel with those wings in adhesive tapes, but he can't fly. This scene appears like a sadistic game of Maurizio Cattelan with his gallerist.
For this slide, the Mauritian Catalan works consist of 3 different pieces of art responding to each other. On all these 3 works we can see 4 stuffed animals piled on the top of each other and so decreasing by size: a donkey, a dog, a cat and a rooster. The front legs of the donkey are arranged on a rock to support her friend on his back. The 4 animals are screaming together with their respective mouths wide open. The image of this pyramid animal refers to the tale of Grimm brothers entitled Les Musiciens de Brême. In the tale, 4 animals are bored by their respective owners, who see them as ineffective and unnecessary because too old. Fearing for their life, they go to seek their fortune with an idea to creating a musical band in the city of Brême. Along the way, hungry and tired, they fall on a house full of food and a repulsive brigand. The four friends climb each other and generate a dissonant chorus so terrifying they are feeling brigand and allow friends to move into the house. The second sculpture, date of 1995, is entitled Love Save Life. The four friends are still tough, their posture is the same but when you look closer it seems that the initial energy is less vigorous. Their expressions are weakened. They age but they stay frozen in the representation of their precious acts happy and collectively. The third installation is called Love Lasts Forever and date from 1997. If the first two versions of stuffed animals show, Maurizio Catalan amplifies the macabre aspect to the extreme. The sculpture consists always in the same way but the flesh and skin have disappeared, leaving only the skeletons. When we study these three pieces of art, we can see the pattern of the life cycle divided in three different stages. The life, love, and death we can relate it in the three ages of man: childhood, adulthood, and old age. These three pieces of art underline the inevitable and irreversible cycle of life.
At 52 years old, Maurizio Catalan decided to stop his career with a retrospective of his entire artwork at the Guggenheim Museum of New York. He wants to stop and let the young generation take place, a generation that inspired by his contemporary works. Now Catalan considers this work experience, began over 20 years ago, finished or not.
To conclude about his artistic works, Maurizio Catalan said during an interview, "I need to close the cycle. I consider this work experience began over 20 years ago. I did not realize a work for 2 years. Before that happens to repeat with my idea, I stop. It gave me a position that I had for many years. I could not understand how it was possible that a magazine interested me more than the preparation of an event such as the Guggenheim. Then the answer came to me. I have to leave, or maybe not. Perhaps it will be only an exceptional move for launching a product come to the second issue, created by a man who's seen it. Perhaps, however, it will all be true in this case. If possible, a ticket to New York, I were you. I would book it well in advance.